Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Alpha TV. Yan, we're about to end our February 2022 with this final offering from Aslex PH Academy, of course, co-presented by iExcel CIE Review Center, Farmbox, Pinoy IEs, and Grace Apparel. Magandang gabi po, and I'll be your moderator for tonight, Sir Lex, the founder and CEO of Aslex PH Academy. And without further ado, I would like to, of course, introduce to you our speaker for tonight. Our speaker for tonight is one of the senior consultant for Aslex PH Academy. She has 11 years of experience in continuous improvement with electronics, semiconductors, services, and telecom, operational BPO IT solutions companies, a certified training professional using the ADI technology of ArtDo International or ITD World, certified knowledge management practitioner, PMAP CCFLI, certified Six Sigma Black Belt and Green Belt, MI PGL Japan, and a certified Agile Scrum Foundation professional, and currently taking up and preparing for her certified Scrum Master um, exam this Sunday. Without further ado, please help me welcome with your virtual applauses and reactions none other than Engineer Kaycelyn Valenzuela, our speaker for Agile Scrum 101. Engineer, magandang gabi po, and the virtual floor is yours.
Hi, magandang gabi din, Sir Lex, and thank you for being invited again for Alpha TV. Okay, let me just share my screen. Okay. Natawa lang ako quick lang kanina for the announcement on the Agile Scrum Master certification. I'm vying for that certification para naman I have more understanding and more knowledge in terms of Scrum because as the digital age moves forward, yan na yung need ng organization. I even have other certifications pero ngayon ito yung ginugol ko. Ayan. Kasi I've already achieved the Lean Six Sigma certifications, the green and black. And now I'm gearing towards the agile Scrum methodology because for most of the industries right now, basta may program ka, basta may computer ka, basta meron kang dine-develop either product or services, Scrum or Agile Scrum yung usually na hinahanap nila. And so this is a very timely topic for us to discuss in the Agile TV. And I hope everyone can learn a thing or two about the Scrum, what it really is, and how is it as a framework for Agile project management. Ayan. So what's in store for you today or tonight? I will differentiate between what a project is, what project management is, how is it connected with the Agile methodology and Agile Scrum or the Agile framework. And also we'll have an overview of what Agile Scrum really is. Ano ba yung itsura niya? How is it being implemented? And then I'll show you a glimpse of the future or of now on how Agile Scrum is relevant nowadays, especially pre-pandemic 2019, 2020, and moving forward to 2022 in the years to come. So ano ba yung pagkakaiba ni project management, Agile methodology, and Agile Scrum? Project, diba, as a refresher lang, is a temporary endeavor and undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. So it's temporary and dapat may output ka. So let's say, for in layman's term, for those who are not yet that familiar with project and project management, let's say I have a tree and meron ako woodcutter here. Ang goal ni woodcutter is to cut down this tree in 1 hour. That's a project because he has a temporary endeavor limited to 1 hour and he has to create a unique service or result, which is a cut down tree. Now, when we talk about project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. So if I will just add a question here in this phrase or in this statement, I would say, how will you cut down this tree in 1 hour? The answer to that is your project management. You will have to use different resources. Who will have to cut the tree? How will he do it? How long should he take to do it? What are the materials? What are the devices? What are the tools and gadgets na kailangan niya in order to cut down this tree? And to effectively manage those resources, those knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques, that's what you call project management. Yun yung kumbaga umbrella, yun yung umbrella in all of the projects we handle, yung project management. Pero implementing a project management requires several techniques. And because of that, maraming methodologies that are being introduced ever since and until now. So ano ba yung mga Scrum ano ba yung mga project management methodologies that we have right now? Marami yan. So isa lang yan yung Agile Project Management. We have the process-based approach in a project management. We have the PMBOK method, the traditional or sequential project management methodologies. We have the change management. We have other methodologies. In order to implement these methodologies, maraming framework. We need a structure na susundan to practice and implement these methodologies. Ano-ano yung mga yon? So those structure are called frameworks. And in terms of Agile project management, some of the frameworks which are really kumbaga widely known, may Kanban, may extreme programming, we have Agile Scrum. So Agile Scrum is just one of the frameworks under Agile project management, under the project management. So ano pa yung ibang frameworks which are more familiar with you? So for process-based approach, alam natin yan. Ang frameworks na ginagamit are Lean or Six Sigma or combined Lean Six Sigma or process-based project management like what you do in Kaizen or mga small group activities or mga focus group discussions na merong project that are being take on. Yan. So yun yung process-based approach. Yan yung mga sample frameworks lang, if not all. Yung PMBOK method, I believe si ASLEC Space Academy, meron siyang project management fundamentals. Yun naman, yung certification training nila, yun naka-anchor naman sa PMBOK method na project management, which is initiating, planning, executing, controlling, and closing. So on a traditional or sequence project management, merong mga tinatawag na waterfall project, merong CPM, critical path method, or CCPM or critical chain project management. On change management, we have ECM, XPM, and other tools. On other methodologies which are not yet structured or not yet, kumbaga, introduced as a solid structure, may mga PRINCE2, PRISM, or benefit realization. So those are frameworks para ma-implement natin yung project management methodologies. And in terms of Agile Scrum, it's a framework to implement the Agile project management. Just to give kumbaga, a layman's terminology for that. Halimbawa, merong mga kumakain ng meat, right? Omnivorous, kumbaga. May mga kumakain ng vegetable. So, yung mga kumakain ng vegetable lang, they have the vegetarian diet. Okay, yung vegetarian diet na yon, it's your eating practice and methodology based on principles and values. So, yeah, let's say yan yung Agile methodology. Your diet, your methodology, your practice. Now, para ma-implement ko yung vegetarian diet, kailangan kumakain ako ng gulay. So, one recipe that I have is the eggplant lasagna. So, yung recipe na yon, in order for me to implement my vegetarian diet, that recipe is your framework or your structure, diba? Para makakain ako ng gulay. Para ma-implement ko yung vegetarian diet ko. So, in a sense, if we'll compare it with the Scrum, yung recipe, yun yung Scrum natin. paano ko ba iluluto? Paano ko ba gagawin si eggplant lasagna from gaano katagal ko siya gagawin, ilang minuto bawat process step, what are the tools, techniques, what are the kumbaga materials na kailangan ko ba ng eggplant, cheese, tomato sauce, or stove, microwave, oven toaster. So everything that I need in order to create this eggplant lasagna para ma-implement ko si vegetarian diet. Your recipe, and that's your Scrum framework. So, clear pa ba? Ayan. More lighter part of defining what Agile is and what Agile Scrum is. So, project management on top, under non-Agile methodology, at isa sa mga Agile methodology, yung Agile Scrum framework natin. Okay. So, ano ba yung Agile Scrum framework? And how is it different from the other project management methodologies? Yung Agile Scrum framework natin. This Agile Scrum framework is how we implement the Scrum, okay, the Agile Scrum or the Agile methodology. It composes of 3 roles. So ano yung tatlong role na yon? Meron akong product owner, meron akong Scrum team, and meron akong Scrum master. Okay? Yung Scrum team, it can be your developer or it can be the business analyst or the quality people. Yun yung bumubuo sa Scrum team or yung iba tinatawag as development team. Sila yung primary stakeholders of the Scrum framework. Now, meron ding 5 events. Kumbaga, merong 5 phases in implementing the Scrum framework. Kumbaga, if you compare it in the DMAIC methodology, the Lean Six Sigma methodology, so meron tayong define, measure, analyze, improve, control. Sa Agile Scrum, yung 5 events na yon are called sprint planning, sprint, the daily Scrum, the sprint review, and the sprint retrospective. So those are the 5 events. And then meron tayong tatlong artifacts. Yung artifacts na yon are important documents and practices in order to see, okay, the breakdown of the tasks and activities or the breakdown of ano yung deliverable and output. So tatlong artifact yan. We have the product backlog, the sprint backlog, and the increment or finished work. So if I will drill down this process, your product owner, so may customer tayo. Ang customer, gusto ko, igawa mo ako ng game, mobile app, or product na milk tea. Sample lang, milk tea. Okay. So in order to create a milk tea, sabi ni customer, gusto ko pearl. Gusto ko may pearl. Gusto ko 50% sugar. Gusto ko siya ay brown sugar lang, etc. So may mga requirements si customer in order to do that. So yung requirements na yon, yun yung tinatawag na product backlog. At yun yung kinukuha ngayon ng barista. Tama ba? Si product owner. Si product owner ang kumukuha ng requirements ni customer. And then, makikipag-usap siya ngayon doon sa gumagawa. So, si cashier pala si product owner. So, makikipag-usap siya sa gagawa ng milk tea. So, ano yung requirements? So, paplanuhin nila ngayon. They'll create a sequence on how it is being done. That's what you call sprint planning. And then, after the sprint planning, you do the sprint backlog. Ano ba yung dapat unahin na activities? And then, after the sprint backlog, it will undergo a sprint of 1 to 4 weeks in order to complete the specific process. And then, while nangyayari yung sprint na yon, may discussion. May daily scrum na nangyayari in between the product owner, the scrum team, and the scrum master to check if are we doing or are we reaching the goal of our sprint, yung gusto nating tapusin. So in that sense, after matapos yung sprint, magkakaroon ngayon ng sprint review where they will review, so tapos na, meron na akong milk tea. I-review nila ngayon, yung bang requirement ni customer, is na-achieve natin. So check. After ma-check, yung product nung sprint mag-sprint retrospective naman. Kung yung sprint review is about the product, yung sprint retrospective is about the team. How does the team work together during the sprint? Meron bang mga activities that needs to be continued, that needs to be stopped, or that needs to be improved? So, dun yung dapat makita sa sprint retrospective. So, after that, meron pa palang isang order si customer. So, nasa sprint backlog din yun. Ulitin lang natin yung sprint natin in order to finish all the requirements incrementally. Ibig sabihin, paunti-unti, may natatapos tayo. And yung natatapos na yun are shippable, meaning yung natatapos na yun is considered as a minimum requirement or a finished product. After na complete natin yung lahat ng product backlog, that's what you call the finished work. So, i-compare ko yan sa restaurant, okay? Para mas madali nating maintindihan. If we will compare it in a restaurant, meron akong customer. So, halimbawa, si Sir Lex. Si Sir Lex yung customer. May order siya. Order siya ng appetizer o order ng main course. O order siya ng dessert. Meron pa siyang order na soup. So, apat na batch ng full course menu yung in-order niya. Meron akong ulit, appetizer, dessert, soup, and main course. Now, si waiter, yung product owner, okay, yung waiter natin, ililista niya ngayon kung ano yung mga order ng customer. After niya ilista, yung order na yon, dadalhin niya ngayon sa kanino? Kanino niya dadalhin yung order? The order will be brought to the kitchen staff. Tama? So, sino yung bumubuo sa kitchen staff? Nandun yung chef, nandun yung mga taga-tadtad ng gulay or whatever, taga-hugas ng mga cookwares and everything, taga-salang ng stove. So, yung mga kitchen staff na yon, those are considered the Scrum team. They will work together to build the product backlog. So, yung product backlog, that's your full order. Now, mag-uusap-usap sila ngayon, si Scrum team and si product owner. Ano ngayon ang uunahin nating isalang sa apoy? Dapat ba appetizer muna? Dapat ba main course? Dapat ba soup? Or dapat ba dessert muna? So, magdi-discuss sila ngayon during sprint planning. So, after discuss sprint planning, ang output nun, yung sprint backlog. Okay, napag-discussan ni na kitchen staff and the product owner na ang uunahin nilang iluto ay main course. Kasi yung main course, matagal pakuluan yung bulalo, whatever, or pakuluan yung karne. So main course daw muna yung uunahin. Sunod yung sunod, isusunod nila, appetizer. Susunod nila, dessert. Tapos ang susunod nila, soup. So yun yung sequence. Yun yung sequence ng paggawa nila ng order. Yun ngayon yung papasok sa sprint backlog. May sequence na tayo. Ano yung uunahin natin? So, sa first sprint, ang uunahin nila ay main course. Sa second sprint, ang ine-next nila ay main course, appetizer. Sa next sprint, ang iluluto naman nila ay soup. Sa next sprint, ang iluluto naman nila ay dessert. So, may sequence na sila kung paano nila bubuuin yung buong order ng customer. So, that sprint will happen here. So, isasalang na ngayon, di ba, ang first sprint nila, yung main course, isasalang na nila ngayon yung pangbulalo. So, nakasalang na si bulalo. Habang pinakukuluan yung bulalo, that's happening in the sprint, magkakaroon ng daily scrum. Ibig sabihin, habang niluluto yun, may meeting ngayon between Scrum team and product owner. Pag meeting sila kasi, kumusta na yung bulalo? Ano ba yung una dapat gawin? So, step 1, step 2, step 3, nasunod ba yon? So, every minute, okay, or every 10 minutes, merong follow-up meeting. Diba? Yung mga kitchen staff. Ano ba ang nangyayari na dun sa pinakukulo ang bulalo? So, at from that, si Scrum Master naman, let's say itong Scrum Master, siya yung restaurant manager o restaurant supervisor. Siya ngayon yung mag-oversee ng lahat ng nangyayari dito. Siya yung magsasabi ng, oh, waiter, kumusta na yung customer? Ano, naghihintay pa ba? Or agitated na ba? Or irate na ba yung customer natin? Oh, kitchen staff, are you doing the activities based sa plano nyo sa backlog? Are you observing the proper methodology kung paano natin ipiprepare yung orders sa customer natin? So yun yung role ni Scrum Master to ensure na lahat ng teams, product owner, the Scrum team are following this process. Now, balikan natin. Okay, kumulo na yung bulalo. Okay, naglagay na tayo ng rice. Okay na yung main course natin. Meron na tayo isang finished sprint. So, ang nakalagay sa sprint backlog, yung sa first sprint ko, unahin ko main course. Magkakaroon ngayon ng sprint review. Okay. Mag-uusap-usap ngayon si Scrum Master, si Product Owner, si Scrum Team, or the restaurant manager, the waiter, and the kitchen staff. O, kumusta? Yung bang nilagay natin na sprint backlog, yung main course, meron na bang rice? Check. Meron na bang bulalo? Check. Meron na bang sauce? Check. Meron na bang drinks? Check. Okay, kompleto na yung main course natin. Check na tayo sa sprint review. So after nun, may sprint retrospective. Habang ginagawa ba yung main course natin, habang ginagawa yung bulalo, pinaprepare yung rice, pinaprepare yung drinks, pinaprepare yung sauce, how did the team perform? Meron bang nakatenga or nakatambay na kitchen staff? Meron bang impediments or blockers na nangyari like walang onion kaya medyo nagtagal sa pagtatad ng onion. So during the sprint retrospective, doon ngayon identify yung team. Anong naging problema or hindi lang problema, what are the things that needs to be improved? What are the things that have been done well na pwede natin i-continue in the next sprint? At ano yung mga things that needs which are opportunities for improvement? So yun yung i-identify sa retrospective in terms of how the people or how the team performed. So after magawa yun, okay, ilalabas na ngayon yung main course meal, di ba? Naka-ready na yan, naka-ready. So yun na yung first increment. So increment pa lang siya kasi hindi pa kumpleto yung buong order, tama? Hindi pa ready yung appetizer, yung dessert, saka yung soup. So remember, sa listahan natin kanina during their sprint planning, sprint 1 main course, sprint 2 appetizer. So, babalik tayo ngayon. Hindi na tayo ulit sa product backlog, hindi na tayo ulit sa discussion with the customer. Diretso na tayo doon sa sprint backlog. Ano na yung next sprint natin? Appetizer naman yung gagawin natin. Ulitin lang natin yung proseso ng sprint with daily scrum, di ba? And then, after nun, meron na tayong appetizer. So pag nabuo yung appetizer, may sprint review ulit, may sprint retrospective, may increment na ulit tayo. Hanggang matapos natin hanggang sa soup. So kompleto na ngayon yung main course, yung appetizer, yung dessert, yung soup. Meron na tayong finished work. So that is your Scrum framework. Okay. Medyo medyo fun yung Scrum framework because guided tayo on how each step should be prepared. And sa Scrum, naka-define na ano yung trabaho talaga ni product owner. What's the role of the Scrum team? Who are those people involved in the Scrum team? And what are the roles of a Scrum Master? So may iba't ibang roles na dapat gampanan each team and naka-define yon. If we will compare it with the other project management methodologies, let's look at my next slide. So, ito yung Agile Scrum natin. So, we create, we plan, we review, we release. Ganun yung ginagawa natin. May product backlog tayo, nag-sprint planning tayo, sprint backlog, nag-sprint tayo, hanggang sa meron tayong isang finished product, the next finished product, the next finished product. So, that's Agile Scrum. The more traditional way of doing development especially kung magde-develop ka ng project, ng product, or magde-develop ka ng services, um, yung opposite ni Agile Scrum is yung waterfall. Yung waterfall, magpa-plan ka, magki-create, magre-review, sabay-sabay yung release. Instead, kay Agile Scrum, meron kang release ng main course mo, release ng appetizer mo, release ng dessert, release ng soup. Si waterfall, sabay-sabay yun isa-serve. Sabay-sabay isa-serve. So, when there comes a time na, ay, may problema pala sa soup ko, may problema pala sa main course ko, may problema pala sa dessert, sa huli na nila makikita. They won't be able to check it, to correct it before the end of the project timeline. Kasi sa huli na nangyari. So, if there's something wrong that happened, uulitin mo yung buong project timeline from planning, create, and review. Unlike kay Agile Scrum, since paunti-unti, incremental, iterated, yung nire-release natin na parts of the product, then in the next sprint, so another 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, if there's something wrong with the first product, kaya pa natin i-correct in the next sprint. The same with the last sprint. So that's the difference between the traditional development, project development compared to Agile. If i-compare naman natin siya kay Lean Six Sigma methodology, si LSS naman, yung define na dun sa plan. Tama? Yung measure and analyze between the create and review portion. Pero in terms of the improvements and control, nandun na siya sa release hanggang sa mag-create tayo ng final outcome. So that's the difference between Agile Scrum and the traditional projects that we have. The process-based and yung sequential, which is the waterfall. Now, in order to implement the Agile Scrum methodology, or actually it's true with all the methodologies that we have in terms of Agile. Diba sabi ko sa inyo, yung Scrum, isa lang siya sa framework ni Agile. And lahat ng under kay Agile methodology should follow this Agile Manifesto. So, Agile gives more importance with the individuals and interactions rather than processes and tools. Parang sinasabi ni Agile, however way you do it, okay, whatever process you build upon, whatever tools you use, as long as each people are interacting individually and per team, good to go tayo dyan. So it gives more importance to people. Second, it gives more importance to the working software rather than comprehensive documentation dahil nga mabilis yung facing ni Agile. Agile nga, di ba, mabilis. So, instead of spending too much time on documenting, di ba, lahat sinusulat, lahat ng standards, kailangan meron tayong policies, procedures, and manual. People practicing Agile methodology gives more importance on the working software. So, ano yung product? Ano yung finished product? Parang result-oriented siya. Instead of, kumbaga, kung mag-spend ka lang din naman ng time, doon ka na sa paggawa ng software at make sure that it is working rather than spend your time on creating documentation. The product yung importante. Another one, in terms of customer collaboration. So, instead of getting the buy-in with the customer, like, ito yung gusto ni customer. So, tayo development team, makikipag ito lang yung kaya namin. Kailangan bigyan nyo kami ng leeway para gawin nyo. Instead of having those batuhan ng discussion, it's more of the customer collaboration. Win-win solution tayo. Okay, kung this is what the customer requirements, let's plan how are we going to do it. Which are possible, which are not, and communicate it with the team. So, yun yung sinasabi niya, communication. And then, of course, because of the digital age, because of the Industry 4.0 dati, di ba? Ngayon, Industry 4.2 na. So, it's gearing towards Industry 5.0, maybe 2030, 5.0 na tayo. Because yung mga mayayamang companies are slowly building smart communities, right? Actually, when I was in the manufacturing industry, 2015 pa lang, usapan na yung smart community, and Japan have already may isang barangay na sa Japan na smart community. In fact, so Agile Manifesto tells us na if you are implementing or practicing Agile Scrum, kailangan we give more importance to responding to changes rather than following a plan. Kasi 'di ba? Oo, in project management it tells you mag-planning ka muna. Pero there will always be a time na may mga unforeseen circumstances that happens. And we don't have any control about that. We can just anticipate it, right? So, sabi ni Scrum, instead of magtagal ka sa pagpaplano, let's respond to change. Let's be more flexible in terms of how we do things para if ever a change happens na unforeseen natin, at least kaya nating i-troubleshoot or kaya nating mag-adjust on addressing those. So, we are more responsive. Yun yung sinasabi ni Agile Manifesto. And of course, para makapag-comply ka dito sa Agile Manifesto, every one of us should have these Scrum values. We should be brave. We should have courage to do the right thing and work on tough problems. Kasi there are times na, okay, pagbigyan natin yan kasi mas mataas siya sa atin, di ba? Customers yan, ganyan-ganyan. Pero you should have the courage to tell them that, okay, this is the right thing that we need to do based on our process and we should address it. So we should be focused. Meron tayong guide on how to do the Scrum. So kailangan lang natin work on the sprint and achieve the goals. Then of course, commitment. Sabi, in a Scrum, even though dapat marunong tayo mag-respond to change, it's kumbaga, big thing if people at the start of the project hanggang sa end of the project, same people lang. So people should be committed to achieving the goals of the full team. And of course, respect each other, sabi nga. Giving importance to people and communication, having respect is step one of achieving good communication between people, diba? Good collaboration. And then openness. So, di ba may daily Scrum wherein every day may meeting. Ano ba yung activities na gagawin ngayon and ano ba yung difficulties kung bakit hindi mangyayari itong activity na to. So sa Scrum, kailangan each members of the team open-minded ka ba? Hindi po ito scam ha. Ayan. Openness meaning each of the members of the team are open about all the work and the challenges while performing the work. Kasi as soon as we find the problem, kaya nga may daily Scrum, as soon as we find the problem, we can address it easily. Hindi yung nasa dulo na, tsaka pa lang natin malalaman, may problem na pala. So, ang daming may kailangan ng agile project managers right now. People who are agile practitioners who at least have a knowledge on Agile Scrum Foundation. And let me show you ano yung increasing demand for Scrum practitioners and how are they needed now and in the future. So, alam niyo ba kung magkano yung expected salary ng isang Agile practitioner nowadays, even just 1 to 3 years experience. So ito yung sweldo ng isang Agile project manager. Wala actually certification para maging Agile project manager ka. You just have to be knowledgeable on the Agile Scrum Foundation, yung basics ni Agile Scrum, or at least certified ka doon para naman credible ka to become an Agile project manager and to earn this much. So that's what, if 673, we divide it by 12. Magkano yun? That's 56, roughly 56,000. Entry level ka pa lang dun 1 to 3 years experience in terms of Agile. You will earn 56,000 agad-agad if you know of the Agile Scrum Foundation and you are knowledgeable with the Agile stuff or Agile Scrum stuffs. These are the companies actually practicing Scrum. So imagine, ito yung sweldo na ino-offer nila of the various companies right now. Sabi ko kanina, di ba? Any industry, whether technology ka or in the manufacturing, healthcare, it is evident here. Ito yung mga companies that are practicing Scrum. Even Walt Disney Entertainment Industry, CNN, the broadcasting and news, our health, mga healthcare services, GE, manufacturing industry, and many more. Many more companies are practicing Scrum. Basta may program ka, basta may product or services ka, meron kang gustong ipa-implement or buuin na sistema, Scrum yun. Automation. In order to automate things, you need to build something from scratch or build something from manual to automated one. Agile Scrum methodology yung ginagamit doon. So, ito yung mga example ng industries practicing Agile Scrum. See how varied they are. Even military grade, di ba? Nag-Agile Scrum din sila. FDA-approved life-critical system for healthcare and services. Any company with QMS or Quality Management System or ISO 9001 certifications, they can apply Agile Scrum methodology. Mga contract development, diba? Mga infrastructures, Agile Scrum. Even websites, satellite control software. So, let's get rid of the kumbaga, misconception about Agile Scrum na pang software development lang siya. Yes, it is more effective kapag ginamit natin for a software development kasi yun yung foundation talaga kung ba't nabuo siya. Pero I've been to manufacturing industry. We are doing it, but we didn't know that it's already Agile Scrum. So people should have more, knowledge, understanding, and orientation or overview of what Agile Scrum is. Ayun, so in order to become an Agile Scrum practitioner, wala namang certification, kumbaga hindi naman required na mag-certify ka. Pero if magtitingin kayo dun sa mga job postings, there are many certifications available for Agile Scrum. Ito yung iba, GSDC na Agile Scrum Foundation, meron din from Scrum Alliance. So these are the certifications that they have. May Agile Scrum Foundation certification, Agile Scrum Master. So depende sa role mo kung ikaw ay product owner, development team, or Scrum Master. If you want to specialize on that, pwede kang magpa-certify to perform those specific roles to add value, diba? Para mas maging expert ka or specialized ka kapag nag-handle ka na ng mga Agile projects. Pero the most basic certification that you need, an Agile Scrum Foundation certification. Sabi ko kanina, di ba? Anyone can be an Agile practitioner. Ang daming resources ngayon. You have Google, di ba? Kaya mo mag-research kahit saan ngayon. No? Pag nag-type ka, Agile Scrum, ano ibig sabihin nun? Anong pagkakaiba ng the different traditional project management frameworks? Pero Scrum expertise sets you apart from other project leaders. So, bakit ikaw yung kukunin ko? Wala ka namang, kumbaga, yes, you know how to do Agile Scrum based on your research and everything. You can always say na meron kang alam dyan, pero how will you prove? How will you prove na you are an Agile Scrum practitioner? So, your Scrum expertise sets you apart from other project leaders as you gain holistic knowledge of potential Agile practices and ways to implement them. You can research as much as you want, pero yung structure, kung paano tayo mag-Agile Scrum. So, I suggest with the increasing demand, check some available trainings or certifications out there. Ayan. May question lang. If I can, I guess this is my last slide na kasi. So for questions, I just want to read one question here. Consider na ba ito ngayon na Agile Scrum Foundation or ibang course level yun, ma'am? At itong ginawa natin ngayon is just an overview of the Agile. Pero ang Agile Scrum Foundation will tell you ano ba yung different Agile methodologies. So i-discuss doon, may mga feature-driven development, may mga extreme programming, may mga, what do you call that? May Lean Kanban pa, diba? Tapos meron pang BSDM. So may mga technicalities that are under Agile Scrum Foundation trainings. It will also enumerate ano yung specific role ni product owner, specific role ni Scrum Master, at specific role ni Scrum team. Your Agile Scrum Foundation will also tell you ano ba ang artifacts, di ba? Meron tayong product backlog. Ano bang itsura ng product backlog? Kailan ba siya ginagamit? Kailan ba siya ginagamit? Paano ba siya buuin? Merong sprint backlog, di ba? Tapos merong an Agile Scrum Foundation will also tell you paano ba pina-perform ang sprint review? Gaano katagal lang ba siya dapat gawin? Dapat ba buong araw? Dapat ba 3 hours lang? So, ano yung guide para mabuo ko yon or ma-perform ko yung Agile Scrum? So, if we will go back to may slide kanina, yung Scrum framework, ayan, the Agile Scrum Foundation will enumerate, will dig deep on ano yung role nila, di ba? Ano yung, yan, ito yung main core ng Agile Foundation. It will explain to you, breakdown, point by point, ano yung 3 roles, 5 events, and 3 artifacts. So, yun po yun. So, ngayon, ito, parang Agile Scrum 101. The overview of the Agile Scrum framework. Okay, thank you then. So I guess that's the last slide for me. Okay, how is Agile Scrum different from design thinking or sprint? Yeah. So, na-discuss ko naman kanina, parang yung Agile Scrum, isang framework siya. Your design thinking methodology will be under the sprint methodology. Yung sprint mo, paano ka magde-develop, paano mo ngayon i-design yung process. Halimbawa, gagawa ka ng software or gagawa ka ng isang laro. Okay? Meron akong game, Space Impact, for example. Kung gagawa ako ng laro na Space Impact, how will I do it? Diba? So during your sprint planning, dun mo na i-apply ngayon yung design thinking. Yung design thinking methodology na, okay, these are the requirements. In order for me to satisfy or achieve those requirements, how will I do it? So yun yung ideation process sa sprint planning. Yan yung ideation process. Sa sprint naman, ang sprint case Scrum framework is the moment you actually build na. Okay? The solutioning phase. You give solution na to the problem because you've already handled every planning, every ideation, every thinking process sa sprint planning and designing your sprint backlog. So that's how your design thinking sprint is different from Agile. Kumbaga, si design thinking sprint is within the Agile framework. Pwede siyang pumasok sa Agile framework. Ayun. So I hope I've answered your question. Any other questions that you have? Ayan. Yes, ayan. So there's a question here with Maya. Have you tried po ba na in the middle of the sprint is may new requirement po si product? Ayan. Paano pong gagawin? Yan. If may new, kasi di ba sabi natin, if this is our sprint, before we end the sprint by sprint review, yung product natin, na-complete ba natin? So there will be a demo to the customer or kahit sa product owner, may i-demo ngayon. Okay, ito ba yung kailangan mo? So, yun yung kailangan. Kaya lang may gusto ko idagdag eh. Diba? Meron akong gustong baguhin doon sa ginawa mo. So, papasok lang yun doon sa sprint backlog for the next sprint. So, if merong bagong requirement that needs to be done or that needs to be required, or merong activity sa first sprint na naiwan at hindi nagawa, papasok lang siya sa second sprint. So, walang redo. It will just go to the next sprint and then dun magkakaroon ng adjustment. So, you don't have to start from the scratch. Sabi nga natin, di ba? Ang Scrum framework, responsive siya. So, this process is designed para if there are changes, it will be as flexible as possible para it can adapt to change. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of agile process? Ayan. Marami. Marami. Pero I believe mas marami on the positive side. So, umpisahan ko muna sa disadvantages. So, yung disadvantage ng Agile Scrum is, in the end, not having an output or product. Bakit? Because of the illusion that they are using or they are practicing the Agile methodologies. Kasi maraming tinatawag yung sarili nila na, oh, nag-Agile kami, nag-Agile framework kami. Pero, pero waterfall pala yung ginagawa nila. They're not actually doing Scrum framework correctly. The roles of the members, the artifacts, the events are not actually implemented well. So kung wala kang magandang basic foundation on the Agile methodology, it's a disadvantage because even if you have a slight knowledge on how to do it, there will come a time na you won't finish a work. Second, dahil nga yung ano, yung activities are guided pero the customer requirements are kumaga changing from time to time. One disadvantage is the sprint may be more than just 2 or 3 sprints kasi may mga projects na umaabot ng 15, sprint 15, sprint 10. So ilang 4 weeks 'yon, ilang 2 weeks 'yon. So 2 weeks times 10, 20 weeks. So that's almost 6 months, tama? So a disadvantage is kapag hindi clear yung product backlog. Yeah. Kasi yung mga disadvantages ni Agile, nangyayari lang if hindi mo sinunod ng tama yung Scrum framework. So one disadvantage if yung product backlog is continuously changing at inaalaw nung Scrum team na mangyari yun, then the sprint will go on as long as you can. So instead na mapaikli yung process of developing something, mas napapatagal. So dalawang disadvantage na yun. The third one, doing an Agile Scrum, medyo costly siya. Why? Because in doing Agile, you are set, di ba? You already have the sight on, okay, ito yung gusto kong mabuo. Kailangan meron akong Food Panda app, kailangan meron akong Grab app, or kailangan meron akong ganitong produkto or ganitong service na ma-create in the end. So in order to do that, syempre, the management will have to provide budget for that. And in terms of building certain software, so maraming mga license software, maraming license tools that need to be adapted, maraming environments, testing environment, product environments, and resources that needs to be working together in order to do that. So medyo costly yung Agile Scrum framework because this is done for product development. Okay, development. When you design something and develop something, like a new product, a new cell phone unit, Apple iPhone 14 or iPhone 15. So it will involve, of course, cost for development. Ang maganda lang, ang advantage lang is wala kang yung trial and error. Because in every sprint nga, may deliverable ka, you know what happens at the end. Diba? You built on the expertise of the Scrum team, so you know that your requirement is prioritized. Depende sa pinag-usapan nyo during the sprint. So I guess those are the disadvantages. And for the advantages, ayan, thousands yun. Hindi ko na iisa-isahin. 3 words lang. Quality, delivery, yan, or time. And then, in a way, advantage din yung kahit mahal siya, it will save us a lot of time. Kasi nga, hindi ka magta-trial and error. You have your framework, you have your structure. So if you want to develop something or if you want to design and develop a product or service, then hindi ka dadaan sa trial and error process. Because people working in the Agile Scrum are knowledgeable of what their tasks really are. Yun. Yun lang naman. Yan. Which among the PM frameworks po ang need na i-prioritize for graduating students or young professionals po? Any tips po on how to decide? Ayan. Ang masasabi ko na tatlong, I guess kasi depende yan kung anong goal mo ba pag gumraduate ka. Okay? Kasi if you will graduate and you are planning on going to a manufacturing industry, so ang priority mo, Lean Six Sigma. Next yung project management fundamentals, yung PMBOK, yung initiating, planning, scheduling, diba? Closing, etc. So the PMBOK method. And then, pangatlo si Agile Scrum. Pero if you're going to technology company, okay, kumbaga on the Silicon Valley level, hindi naman level, but if mga IT technology, ayan, mga Shopee, Lazada, ayan, mga logistics, services, yan, service industry, ang priority mo, Lean Six Sigma methodology pa rin, and then Agile Scrum. So, yun yung priority mo. Kailangan, you have the basics of Lean Six Sigma, pero mas mataas yung knowledge mo on Agile Scrum. So, yun yung dalawang kailangan. So, if you are now a green belt or a yellow belt, ito yung next na certification that you need or next knowledge that you should dwell on if you want to have a Manila rate salary. Kasi in the provincial, di ba, usually dito, especially in Calabarzon area, more on manufacturing industries. So, pag lumabas ka na, pupunta ka ng Makati, BGC, Taguig, Manila, Pasig, whatever, Metro Manila, Agile Scrum yun. Agile Scrum kailangan nila. So, aside from Lean Six Sigma, Agile Scrum framework yung kailangan mo. So, kunin nyo yung tatlo. Matibay ka na nun. Kumbaga sa term ng Batanggenyo, di ba? Matibay ka na kapag alam mo yung tatlo. The Lean Six Sigma, the Agile Scrum, and the Project Management Fundamentals. So, yun yung isa-suggest ko sa inyo na kunin nyo. For prioritization, walang sequence kung alin, pero kasi nga depende sa industry na gagawin mo. Pero those three are fundamentals. If one way or another you will be handling projects, yung tatlong yon kailangan mo na malaman para hindi ka naiiwan at taga-timpla lang ng kape or taga-photocopy lang sa office. There are engineers that are starting like that. Yan. So, sana hindi tayo maging ganun. In our time kasi, wala pang mga certifications. What other questions do you have? Certified matibay na project manager. Ayan. So, any other questions? If you are yun nga, gearing towards, kasi yun na talaga yun yung demand yun yung demand ngayon to go to deal with technology. Kita-kita natin yan nung nag-pandemic and COVID-19 is here to stay, right? So, yung new normal, it will be the normal. And yung mga face-to-face, it will take time for us to go back to face-to-face collaborations. And yung Scrum framework doesn't have that barrier na face-to-face. So even if you communicate digitally, diba, for collaborations and development, hindi mo naman kailangan na doon ka sa kumpanya para mag-develop ka ng product if you have the necessary software and tools. So there's no problem about that. All right. So any other questions from our participants? Any question is welcome.
All right. So good evening again, everyone. And thank you, Engineer Kaycelyn Valenzuela, for that very insightful talk. So we are now down to the last 5 minutes of our session. And again, that was a wonderful and informative talk about Agile Scrum and other project management frameworks. And the questions are really on point. So yeah, thank you everyone for being with us tonight. Engineer Casey, before we let you go, can you please invite them to connect with you on your social media accounts?
Ayan, so you can always visit me in my LinkedIn na lang. Ayan, so I get up for business, for business related activities. So you can always ping me there for consultations on different matters, may it be Lean Six Sigma, Agile, Scrum, or any project management fundamentals. And of course, I'm connected with Ask Lex PH Academy, so you can always ask Sir Lex and Alpha team if you have the kumbaga, initiative to get trainings specifically for project management. Tatlo yun, the Lean Six Sigma Project Management Fundamentals, or I guess upcoming siguro magkakaroon si Aslex PH Academy ng Agile Scrum Foundation certification. So grab that one para maging ano kayo, maging kumbaga not just updated, but knowledgeable on the now and the future. Nauna na kayo compared sa iba. Imagine, well, 5 minutes na lang, no? Nahahaba na naman yung usapan. Ngayon, available na lahat ng resources to everyone. So, use those resources para ma-educate yung bawat isa sa atin. Yung mga sarili natin. So, just
All
look
right.
for Kaycelyn Valenzuela sa LinkedIn.
Thank you, Engineer Casey. And of course, if you have requests for guesting for or speaking opportunities for your events, especially for those students or graduating students, or even those who are affiliated with corporations, you may also invite Engineer Casey via her LinkedIn account or via our page so that we can connect you with her appropriately. So with that, maraming salamat po ulit, Engineer Casey, and we'll just have some announcements. But really, this has been a very great opportunity for everyone to learn Agile Scrum.
Thank you very much then, Aslex Special Academy and Alpha TV for inviting me. Thank you. And I hope everyone learned a thing or two.
Okay, so let's send Engineer Kaycelyn Valenzuela our appreciation through our reactions and messages in the Zoom chat box. No, and if you're in the YouTube, you can also send your reactions and your appreciation via the YouTube chat box. Ayan. All right, so that's it for tonight. I hope you learned a thing or two about Agile and Scrum. And of course, as usual, we have some announcement before we reveal, of course, how you can register and for the attendance and get a copy of your e-certificate. Ayan. Engineer Casey, if you can look at the chat box, it's being flooded by appreciation messages. So yeah.
Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
All right. So for some announcements, again, the attendance form will be shown in a very short while. This will be open within the next 30 minutes. So please make sure that if you haven't get the link, you have taken a screenshot of the second to the last page of this particular deck. Please follow us in our Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube account, AskLexPage Academy, and still you can always visit www.asklexpage.com and take our one of the 50 plus free e-learning courses, including this one that will be archived in the next couple of days. And so if your friends haven't seen this but they want to learn more about Agile Scrum on an overview level, so you can share that once published. And as mentioned, we have been a partner of the Global Skills Development Council, and we are inviting everyone here in the session to become a certified Agile Scrum Foundation's certified professional, o na doble pala yung certified, no? This will happen on April 2 and 3, 2022 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Two sessions of 4 hours each, and everyone will receive a 50% special offer for just attending this course. So the amount would be around probably that's gonna be offered originally at 15,000. So technically it's gonna be around 7,500 or less than that, because the exam is the certification will not be coming from us. It will be coming from Global Skills Development Council. And the examination alone is actually worth 10,000 pesos. But we have made arrangements for our audience to have some sort of discount. So kaya kasi when you avail that coming from them, wala pa po yung training. It's really just a certification and that's 10,000. But for us, we're gonna offer it at around 7,000 to maybe around 8,000. Kasama na po dun yung certification ninyo and the training for the 2 4-hour session. So meron na rin po diyang mga mock examination just to prepare you for the exam. And not only for the exam but also for the actual application. So that's how thing works for ASLEX. So if you're interested, you'll be receiving naman an email. But if you have friends who would want to avail this and that's gonna be coming from your referral, so tatanggapin din namin and you'll still earn 5% from their successful registration. So how good is that, right? We also have our Lean Six Sigma this it's going to be March 19 to 27. Our self-paced yellow belt is still up at 2,990. We have a combined yellow and green belt starting on March 19 to April 17. We have the self-paced version at offered at 14,990. We have the black belt. If you're into being a black belt already, from May 7 to June 26, we're running the second batch, which is actually on their improved phase already. We have a certified data analyst using R and Python. The batch is ongoing, but we will be having another one on the next quarter. So if you're interested, you can just visit us at our website, asklikespeech.com/events. We also have the project management. The next one will be happening tomorrow, and then the other one, the last one for this quarter, will be on March 26. So you can, if you happen to not be in the session for tomorrow, you can actually go for next month's batch. We have our certified Kaizen professional still at 5,000 pesos, our pandemic rate, happening this March 26 and 27. Our certified internal quality auditor happening on March 5, 12, 19, and 26. And you can also join our programs as a group of 5, but you just have to pay for 4 packs, right? So amazing, right? We are still on the lookout for our partners, whether these are brand partners, community partners, organizational partners, or any partnership that you could offer with us and that we can get win-win benefits. Also, we are looking for ambassadors. These are on an individual level. So kapag palagi ka naman nandito, nag-advocate ka ng mga programs ng ASLEX, why not apply as an official ambassador to get referral incentives? And free courses are still up at aslexpage.com. We have our friends from iExcel saying that they have the online CIE review. So please check them out under aslexpage.com/courses and find iExcel CIE review. Our friends from Farmbox are inviting you to help farmers one box at a time. Visit their website at Farmbox Online. And of course, Grace Apparel for Bible-inspired designs on your favorite shirts. You can find them at Shopee and Lazada. And of course, ayan na po ang ating ayan. So yung mga register po agad kayo kasi for the programs, especially for the Scrum, no? Napakatagal na po, Agile Scrum, napakatagal na po may nagtatanong nito and this is really one of the requirements if you apply for tech companies. So yan po yung ating link for the registration for attendance and the e-certificate. Ito naman po, ipasa po natin dito sa ating YouTube. Ayan po. Okay, so again, thank you everyone. And I hope you learned a thing or two coming from Engineer Casey. And I am actually sure naman that you did. So hopefully we can see you on our Agile Scrum Fundamentals or Foundation certification. Okay. As always, let's continue to be #significantly better together. Good night, everyone. Enjoy your weekend and keep safe always. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you, Engineer Casey. Bye, everyone.
Bye po.